Philly, we have ourselves a problem. We have a Nick Sirianni problem. We have a Jalen Hurts problem. Let's talk about it. To another episode of the Money Pod podcast show. We had to bring the boys back together, get the band back together, as they say. I am the host. I'm the CEO. They call me Moss Money. What's going on here, man? My joint a little choppy. And I got my boy Ernie B. Be humble. The boys are ready to go at it. This is going to be a different style show. We're going to debate everything that we saw and what we know about this Philadelphia Eagles team as we see it. As we all know and saw, the Eagles got their ass whooped. As Be Humble said in the chat, belts the asses down there in Tampa. And we are here to discuss because there is a lot of chatter and a lot of stuff being flown around out here in these social media streets. And everybody's got an opinion. Everybody got something to say. And we're here to let you voice your opinion about this whole Eagles debacle that we're in. And I'm going to start it off, man. I'm going to put you boys on the spot. What we're going to do here is we're going to put a timer up, right? We're going to let the boys go at it. I'm going to see if I can referee this thing. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stay even kill. Because they was going at it last time. So let's see if we can put some order to the little bit of the chaos that we about to get into. But first up, man, I got to ask you boys. You know what I mean? I have to. This is the first thing I thought about when I thought about this show today, and it's the way I opened up the show. Who's the bigger problem? Ernie B. I'm going to go with you first. Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni?
Thank you for letting me go first, because I just let me lay out the groundwork for what we're looking at right now, because this is rough. Philadelphia fans, how are you doing? Because there's no record of this because I was not doing anything like this at the time. But I had some early sniffings, some sense that came around during the Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson crash. And one of the things that was just it was a lack of I don't even want to call it accountability anymore. It was just a lack of a true connection between head coach and quarterback. And let's start off with the Eagles' turnover differential. The Eagles are -6 in turnover differential, one behind being worse in the NFL as we stand today. This is pre-Monday Night Football. Jalen Hurts has had a turnover in 9 straight games, the longest streak in the NFL right now. Jalen has 7 turnovers this year.
Ding! I wish I had a ding, right? You know, the ding, he give you points, right? Ding.
Yeah. So Jalen has 7 turnovers this year, which is second in the NFL to Will Levis. Will Levis kept that going tonight. So this is pre-Monday Night Football. And then Jalen's 27 turnovers since the start of last season. Since the start of last season is the most in the league. We have an Eagles problem. This isn't a Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni problem. This is an Eagles problem. We fucking suck, dude. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Like, you can have players where you want them. You can do what you want. I mean, I've seen this team succeed with Andy Reid, with, you know, the most talent that there is. We saw Chip Kelly divide and conquer. We saw Doug Peterson win with scraps. And we have Nick Sirianni, who has been toted around as the poster child, you know, whatever you want to say. The organization has protected this coach for what reason? Well, he's had his coordinators, you know, flipped and flopped and so on and so forth. You know, we have the architect. This is Vic Fangio's defense. And, you know, we have Vic Fangio. And again, we fucking suck. So Tampa Bay has whooped our ass in the pre-Sirianni regime. Like they've whooped our ass. I was born in 1996. They've whooped our ass as long as I've been alive. So they have constantly, it's been belt to ass with Tampa Bay. That's not the point. It's not about just this game. It's the fact that there's an eerie feeling going around Philadelphia, and it's going around the NovaCare complex. And Jalen Hurts is not playing good football. He's playing really, really, really bad football. And I'm upset as a fan because I am stripped away constantly of getting a good quarterback. I don't have the opportunity. We get one season, we pay him, the debacle happens, and then we flip him for a second-round pick. Donovan did it. Kevin Kolb, Sam Bradford, Carson Wentz. Michael Vick is the only one that survived, but he's an anomaly to anything. I mean, it is constant, man.
You
And
got
there
10
is no
seconds.
way you can tell me that this ship is not leading in this direction. I don't see it. This is bad. And firing him does nothing. Let me state that. Firing him does nothing.
Oh man, that was loud.
Is that
Did y'all
my
hear
bell? Is that my bell?
Did that bell go through?
That bell
Ding,
went-
ding.
Ding ding. All right. Diddy. Sorry, I keep doing that. My bad.
Pause.
Humble.
Please.
Sorry,
please,
my apologies.
please.
My
Things have
apologies.
changed.
No baby
Things
oil.
have
No
changed
baby
big
oil in my
time. Things have
background. No
changed.
Yeah.
baby oil in my background.
Yeah. Humble. I'll pose the same question to you. I'll let you answer back. You agree or disagree with here with Ernie B? 3 minutes on the clock. What's the biggest problem? Jalen Hurts
Listen,
or Sirianni?
listen, Ernie, what you said was right. It is. It's an Eagles problem. It is. It's not just a Nick problem. It's not just a Jalen problem. It's a Philadelphia organization. It's a Philadelphia team problem. But with all that being said,
Oh man, throwing up the signs.
we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it the same energy, baby.
Oh wow.
Because I feel is that it starts at the top. Your team showed you they cannot move forward with his leadership or lack thereof of his leadership. Because I don't think he has that type of control in the locker room. Unfortunately, this team needs a coach that can lead them, not just be a fan, not just being a buddy. We need somebody that can control the locker room. Because what happens is when you don't have confidence in your head coach, when you look to that sideline and you're thinking like, damn, he gonna do some dumb shit, that makes you press. I'm not making no excuse for Jalen Hurts. 27 turnovers, 27 touchdowns since the Super Bowl. That's his stats. That's abysmal as a quarterback. But what
Yeah.
I will tell you that has changed and the biggest impact to his game, because I think we saw it, is the offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen that prepared a scheme that was for a Jalen Hurts style quarterback. A lot of RPO, a lot of short reads, 1 and 2 reads, not what we're doing now because we paid him all his money. You paying a quarterback all that money don't change anything but his bank account and possibly the pressure that you're putting on a quarterback. At the end of the day, the game is still the same. His processing, although I'm sure he's a great person, very, very smart, but the processing of him having to go from read to 1 to 3 back to 1 or 1 to 4 back to 2 is not there. So you need as a coaching staff to understand what you have and protect him from himself from pressing and making the mistakes. Put him back in the RPO. Look how the coaching staffs for all these great teams, Green Bay Packers, when Malik Willis came in there. Malik Willis at Tennessee was abysmal. Did not look like an NFL quarterback. He steps in, they go undefeated. Here comes my man coming back off the injury, and guess what happened? It changed the chemistry, changed the style of play, and it makes it more difficult for everybody to kind of follow through. You need a coaching staff that's going to coach not their scheme, but the scheme for the players that they have, and most importantly, is the quarterback. Baltimore Ravens is the best example for that. Harbaugh plays his team, coordinate his team based off of Lamar Jackson. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles need to do. So when I say it's a Nick problem, I'm
5
saying it's
seconds.
more of a coaching problem, starting with Nick.
Ooh. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Put me
So
on the major networks. I'm ready.
You ready? Oh, you ready now?
I'm ready.
Okay. I like it. I think you both made great points. I love the take there, Ernie, of it being an Eagle problem and not just a Nick and Jalen problem. But I would say you did point to a lot of Jalen Hurts problems right now in terms of his play. And then it's kind of funny because you're on the other side. You're looking at Nick Humble in terms of Nick is more of the problem. I'm kind of in between. I don't think Hurts is as good as what people might have thought he was. And I think that's showing. as he's trying to play the quarterback position the way the quarterback position is going to be playing, making reads from the pocket, making throws, going through his progressions, not doing as much RPOs, which made him so dynamic, right? Trying to play the quarterback position. But the one thing I do ask both of you before we move on to the next one, and Humble, you can go first on this one. Why are we so quick to point out everybody else who does good with this football team outside of Nick Sirianni? When they win, it's the talent or the coordinators. Why can't it be Nick part of that equation? Like we're already boxed him out because we don't like him. We don't like the way he coaches. We don't like the way he answers questions in the media. But I feel like we've already put him in a box of, we want you gone. And if we win, it's not because of you. It's because of Barkley, or it's because of Kellen Moore and his scheme. But it's not because of you, because you consistently remind us of bad football decisions throughout the game. But for me, how do you not give the head coach props? If you can tear him down, you can build him right back up. Humble, I'll let you go first.
Well, the biggest thing is that it's glaring. It's glaring that he has no impact on the team, whether it's schematically or not. So that's the biggest part when you're looking at it. And then when I was listening to First Take. Salute to Stephen A. Smith from First Take, and they had Teddy Bruschi on there. And Teddy Bruschi said him and Bill Belichick was like peas in a pod. They didn't get along. But one thing that Teddy Bruschi did say, that what he can trust in Bill Belichick is that he's going to be on his job, make the right decisions, and get things done. So whether he had a disagreement or he didn't agree with his philosophy was, that he was sure that at least he was going to be making the right decisions for the whole of the team. Nick Sirianni doesn't do that on national television with decision making. We all see it. Everybody sees it. Can you imagine what's happening in the locker room? We listen to him in these press conferences.
I think the locker room has a different feel for him.
But listen, we hear him in the press conferences. It's babble, 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 babble. And he says nothing. He's the same person going to talking to these players. This is why week 2, when we lost that game against Atlanta, he's not talking to his staff. They don't want him in there. I'm probably pretty sure when he walks into the offensive room, they're looking at him like, oh God, here he comes. That's the feeling that I see from him. Yeah, he's probably a good guy. He probably, great with his kids and good person to talk to in
10 seconds.
In the background. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to football, it's about strategy, X's and O's, and execution. And he's not that guy.
Ernie B, thoughts?
I just think we're in a market where the head coach is the first dart you throw and the quarterback is the second. The GM and the owner deserve more accountability than they take. And I think that Howie Roseman has been put on a pedestal this past cycle. And I think it's about time we come for a little bit of accountability. I mean, Devin White was a bad allocation of cash. Bryce Huff is a bad allocation of cash. The whole Hassan Reddick deal, whether you want to give him a long-term extension or not, whatever, clearly he has no leverage as a player with any organization, whether it be New York or Philadelphia. So that's a mishandled situation. I just think we're a team that relies on our offensive assets to outshine our quarterback. And our quarterback just played his first game without both of those assets since he's come into the league and outside of his rookie year. And he was exposed because he didn't show me anything. If you're going to stand in the pocket for 5 fucking seconds, like, at least look like you know where you're at. I mean, the Levante David strip sack was abysmal. It was just, it's bad. And I feel like we have a quarterback that has tuned out our head coach, whether that be right or wrong. That's not my decision. This is exactly like what happened with Doug and Carson. And I have a quick stat if I have the time.
Yeah, I'll let you go for another 20.
Let me pull up this stat real quick. It's about Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts turnovers. Carson Wentz find this quicker. Basically, the tape can show us. We have seen all we can see from Jalen. This is starting to look like Carson post Super Bowl, right?
I was about to say post Super Bowl, they're probably eerily similar, but Jalen won more.
Malfunctioned from the organization to your starting quarterback. Now, whether you got the quarterback right or not, it is what it is.
10 seconds.
I regress. It's good. I'll find this stat. I'll find it and show it to you.
All right. Humble, real quick before we move on to the next one, you got anything to add to it, or are we ready to move on to the next debate of the Philadelphia Eagles?
I got the stat. If we're
go ahead, drop the stat.
So Carson Wentz in 2020 had 8 turnovers in his first 4 games.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has 7 in 4. So, and that is by far ahead of the league, just so anybody can fact check that. But in 2020, which was the demise of the Peterson era, we had 8 turnovers in the first 4 games due to the quarterback. We have 7 in this season so far.
Humble, too much reading into the stats of the turnovers. Quarterbacks make turnovers. People make turnovers.
It's not
Josh Allen, the most dynamic player in the NFL, makes turnovers. So
all the time. Not much. This year. He's been pretty good to keep taking.
He's been pretty good this year, but traditionally,
this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm saying about Jalen Hurts. And like, I'm not the lift Jalen Hurts and he's our guy, champ. I'm not. I'm just saying we've seen the best version of Jalen Hurts, and I know he can get back there. I think organizational dysfunction is why he's making the decisions he's making, because he doesn't have the trust in the coach that's behind him. So he's forcing action.
I hate to interrupt. But can Jalen Hurts make that throw to Saquon Barkley in the first quarter on the first drive? When Saquon is streaking open after a broken play, Jalen Hurts break. Why did he miss the throw? Why did he miss the throw by 10 yards?
Aaron Rodgers missed throws yesterday. We've seen him drop buckets to AJ Brown.
Be honest with me.
I'm being honest.
You saw how far that ball was off.
We've seen him.
He was off yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. I get it, but that's not the norm. When you look at his turnovers, they're not crazy bad.
That's not a turnover.
Like when we're looking at Daniel Jones,
throw that is not that an NFL player is wide open and you cannot get him the ball.
That was a tough throw. It was a tough throw. It was a tough throw.
That's not Humble. Dude.
Hold on, let him finish. Go ahead, Humble.
There are guys that are making that throw.
Flaws for Jalen Hurts. If you understand his limitations, you play him the way he should be played. More RPO, more out the pocket, and you grow on that. He's not the tallest of persons, so him being in the pocket is not the best place for him to be. That's just what it is. You look at Jaden Daniels, very dynamic, right? Rookie. Obviously, the defensive teams will start growing on him and seeing what his weaknesses are, and they'll start attacking his weaknesses. Probably by week 8, he'll probably tone down a little bit. But he's also 6'4", so he can stand in a pocket and still be dynamic. Josh Allen, 6'4", can stand in a pocket, be dynamic.
Jalen Hurts, 6'6",
6'6", right? Jalen Hurts is not. He doesn't have that height to see over the line, so he has to take more time inside the pocket to get off his reads and see downfield. My thing is this, and I'll keep it quick.
Yeah. I want to move on to the next thing.
The flaws for Jalen Hurts can be fixed with the right coaching behind him. We still have the same stale ass Nick Sirianni. That's my opinion. I think it starts with Nick. I think Jalen showed us, especially year 2, when he took us to the Super Bowl and limited his turnovers and was taking care of the ball. It was a lot more quick reads, not deep down bats until it was open. That's my thing. Now we're asking him to do different things that he can't do at the moment.
So I want to move on off that because we could probably do a whole show on that. So let's keep it moving. All right. So the next problem that I think is starting to get a little bit glaring, and I don't know if you guys seen this yet. So this might be breaking news or something new that you might not have seen yet. But before I put these two guys who we're going to talk about, I want you to see this. Let me see. I want you to watch this video and let me know what you guys think, especially as Eagle fans, about what we about to see right here. All right, let me see it. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Open this joint up.
stuff said for the game. He struck again,
All right,
bro.
all right, hold on. So hold on. Let me do it like this because it's not doing it the way I wanted to do it. All right, so we'll do it like this, and then we'll add this to the stage.
That's my dog.
And before we get into this, bro, I'm not
All right, so
man. Your dog CJ, man, he had some stuff said for the game. He struck again, bro.
Man,
Bro.
that's my dog.
And
man.
before we get into this, bro, I'm not trying to, like, y'all know, bro, I'm all positive, bro. I'm not trying to attack CJ at all.
Right.
I know he took what I said personally, and you know, before I even get into it, who we think he is, like, in terms of how we feel, bro, like, we all in the NFL. How one of us saying that another person don't belong here, they just that type of person, like, you feel me though? Like, even
I
with
know
a
what you
pro,
said, man.
even with a Pro
know-
Bowl or Pro, like, you know, we still could be humbled at any moment. Like, we still gonna get beat. I'm gonna still get locked up maybe for a game or a rep. You know, it's just a game of football. It's just how it happened.
It happens.
So, like,
It happens, man.
what's your thought on that, bro? Like,
Yeah, hey, one thing I know about 8, man. 8 go bring the noise. 8 go bring the energy. And 8 go bring all the trash talking that half the team's not doing. So he fulfilled that need for us. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy with a lot of energy. He go talk that trash, but you know, hey, you go talk, you gotta back it up at some point in time. And if you don't, he know for sure that media go catch it on the attention, and he gotta be ready to answer every time. Because if he don't, the media go on his ass every time. But
Every
you know what's up
time.
with him, man. You know what's up with him. He gonna do it. Now, hey, I told him do your thing, man. But hey, you know now you don't perform the way you want to perform, they gonna get back on you.
bro.
all right, so that is your captain of the team talking with people saying the enemy in the Dallas Cowboys and Michael Parsons and talking about CJ, GJ, and you know how his energy is and him missing tackles on the field, and this whole team has missed a ton of tackles. It was glaring. But let me ask you boys this, and people even watching, come on and chime in. Ernie B, I started with you first time. I'm gonna start with you. Now that you just seen this because this was today, I think that podcast was today, right after we lost. Slay on there talking about a fellow teammate with another the biggest rival of the Philadelphia Eagles, star defensive player. Who do we have? Who's a bigger problem on this defense right now? Slay or Gardner Johnson?
Defensive wise,
Defensively wise.
individually defensive wise,
Individually defensive wise.
I don't know. I got to think for CJ. I like CJ Gardner. I like the energy he brings. I like his attitude and
Oh, let me bring up the drone again. Go ahead. No, you good.
not really giving a fuck and just kind of, you know, he'll make mistakes and then he'll make a play. Slay just seems like he's on that downswing. Obviously, age is happening. I think he takes a lot of things personal because you see he jumped right on Twitter after the game, had to boost up his 6 Pro Bowls and all these stats. I don't like that in Slay.
Did y'all see that video real quick? Did y'all see? Is that
That's
the
first time you've seen that video. I don't really care.
You saw that? Okay.
I don't care for him talking to
Parsons.
I mean, we're in an era where everybody talks to each other. They don't the idea of players having this depth of hate between rivals. It doesn't happen anymore because they all befriend each other. They all have these outlets and they're all going clubbing or wives are part of the same crew or they got the same workout partners. So we don't know that history, how tight they are and why he's on the show. So I don't take that personal. What I do take a little personal is the way that Slay acts every time he shows up and have a bad game like he did. I mean, he had that bad game and gave up that touchdown against the Minnesota Vikings. He came up and said something about that. But last night, I mean, yesterday what kind of messed me up a little bit was him right on Twitter. Like, bro, y'all just didn't show up to Tampa and you right on Twitter talking about check my stats and who I am for all y'all naysayers at the end of the day, like on something on that line. And that just turns me off. And I just don't understand, which lets me know that something in the locker room is not happening. That doesn't happen in well-ran locker rooms, which goes back to my Nick Sirianni situation. No coach will allow that, especially after you get your ass whooped. Like
Allow
that.
them what to go talk on social media?
Right? Like I'm talking about. It was 5:30, bro. He's on Twitter talking about this and that. Like, no, man, no,
Mm.
because nobody trying to hear that. We want to hear, yo, we fucked up. That's it. We wasn't prepared. That's all we want to hear after what we saw. And he's talking about the opposite. Well, check my 6 Pro Bowls. Check what I did. Nobody give a shit about what you did. We talking about 2024.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I think he was saying if you going, it's the same thing I said about Nick, right? Not to take your time, but if you're going to throw out his faults, make sure you acknowledge his accomplishments.
No, that's not the way the game's played.
That's not the way it works.
No, you don't win with failure. You don't win through failures. That's not how the game works. Yesterday, we got bombed. That's why I don't want to put Jalen Hurts in the middle of that game yesterday. They got blitzed so crazy. It was 24-0. We only had 9 plays on offense. At some point, like, yeah, did he throw an interception? Was that interception with Devontae Davis coming past him, coming back up to create the fumble? Of course, that was terrible. At the same time, he's probably holding the ball trying to make a play because they're down 24-0 in the second quarter. It was crazy. So what I'm saying is that, listen,
Put the blame on the quarterback.
y'all don't like you're
10
just
seconds.
not prepared, man. Just not prepared.
Okay. Beat the clock. Before we get that bell. All right, Ernie B.
The bell was all right. I like the bell actually.
Oh, you like the bell?
The bell's not bad.
Not bad. The bell's not bad. All right, I'll let it run. I told you y'all would get that 3 minutes. Y'all like, damn, 3 minutes long. Wait till y'all get the yapping.
That's true.
3 minutes
we
ain't
both
nothing.
drinking water. That's all that matters.
That is true. Need that water.
Right. We
3 minutes,
we
3 minutes is kind
we're
of
really
low.
on the debate. I'm looking at my water like I gotta savor this for the next couple of joints. Ernie B, you on the clock, man. Slay or CJ Gardner Johnson, man. What you think? Bigger problem?
In my nerd general manager ways, we're going to open this up with perspective.
Okay.
And the Eagles have had 0 cornerbacks in press coverage on 88% of snaps so far this season.
So Brady pointed that out, and he pointed out there's a reason why. Do you think
Fangio, that's fine,
yeah.
but fucking adjust, man. Like it's plain and simple. Like it's not working. Like it's what you're putting on the field is not working, and it was abysmal yesterday. I mean, and I will blame myself. I will blame myself for trusting this fucking stupid old man. That
Damn.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is so bad. I mean, you're talking about you are lining up Dotson, Wilson, John Ross, and expecting them to go beat the Bucs corners while they're just running a free blitz at your soul. I mean, it's just.
I didn't see them blitz that much. I just felt like it
was
not like exotic blitzes, but it was just blitzes up the middle. It was just an extra man. It was 5-on-5.
Lined up at every position on the defensive line. I'm pretty sure.
But is that him blitzing? That's just him moving around. That's not blitzing.
That's the problem, though, man. I mean, and that creates issues for a quarterback who is not as inept into handling,
Hey, Nate,
like we think he is.
Bro, we're talking about but you're talking Ernie B. We're talking about Vita Vea moving around. Like you got to really account for him coming off the edge. Like, come on.
That comes out of Stoutland University. I mean, what are we doing here? I'm wearing the fucking shirt. What are we doing? I mean, it's shit, man. It's shit. It's absolute shit. It is so far.
No, humble. Let him get his minute. He's got time on the clock.
You guys have no idea. This general manager swung for the fucking fences and missed, and the door was open because of the fucking owner, and he will be reprimanded this offseason. It's just a matter of time. This has happened before. This is not crazy. Like this has all happened once before. This is not, it's bad. When it comes down to the answer of Slay or CJ, Slay is fucking old shit. He's 34 years old. What the fuck do you expect from a 34-year-old outside corner? You got Keely Ringo sitting in the helm. You have Isaiah Rodgers sitting in the helm with a broken hand. That's why he's not getting the reps that people want him to. Slay is washed. I knew that coming into this year. It was seen at the end of last season.
I don't know if
he does not have it. He's 34 years old. Okay? 33, 34 on January January 1, I believe. I will look this up. Yeah, January 1. He's a New Year baby. So January 1, he's 34 years old. He doesn't fucking have it anymore. And if you were expecting number one play from a 34
You don't gotta cuss at me every time.
What are you doing?
I feel the energy now. I'm not.
What are you doing?
I'm wearing green too, motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
I just want to add quickly, Nate, if I can. It sounds to me it's a lot of scheme issues, right? There's a lot of scheme issues.
It's a lot of personnel problems more than anything else.
Offensively, no. I don't think there's personnel problems. Offensively, I think that's injuries.
Defensively, there are 100% personnel problems.
I mean, we talked about this in the beginning of the year. All three of us talked about is whether we were on the show together or were we not, or separately in the chat. They have 2 new coordinators. This thing ain't going to Fangio just ain't going to magically make everybody work. He's still trying to figure out what he has and what their weaknesses are. If he knows what their weaknesses are, if he's playing off coverage, which I'm assuming Brady was kind of insinuating, and even you yourself, Ernie B, talking about he's 34 and he watched, he can't play press coverage against Mike Evans. He just can't.
Played 12% of press man through the week.
And all of them, I mean, you know, I got money on.
That's
I got money on Quinion.
That's not modern NFL defense.
I got money on Quinion being a defensive player of the year. I mean, defensive rookie of the year. But he got beat too. He got beat too. He got beat too. But he put in work, but his recovery is so great that it doesn't show up. You know, so it's hard for me. I'm actually gonna go. I think the bigger problem is CJ. I do. Than Slay. Because I think CJ, it's glaring his issue in coverage. When he gets isolated one-on-one and they put the bet and the way they run those bunch formations and he gets put on their best receiver.
Got beat by a 4, man, and then celebrated after the kid dropped the ball. Don't give me that.
Who?
I'm sorry, but don't give me that. Yes, he was beat by a 4. It's all over the internet.
You talking about the corner? You talking about
the kid's fucking name? And the kid dropped the ball and Slay hit him with a. And
yeah, well, they all do that. That ain't nothing.
That's fine. But you can't claim both sides. You're either a guy that's against the grain or you're for the grain, and he is far beyond. You know, like he's long due.
All right. Here I guess this next one is a really, really good one. Really, really good one. And I want you guys to really think about this one. And I'm gonna go first on this one. I'm gonna join the fun. Right? I'm gonna join the fun. Who is the most important player to this team? AJ Brown or Lane Johnson? I think when you look at the history of what Lane has meant to this team in terms of his record when he's on the field, off the field, I think the easy answer is Lane. But I'm gonna go AJ, man. I'm gonna go AJ because I think this team is completely different without him. I think what we saw with Lane, there's some ways that they can maybe cover up for Lane missing. They can't cover up how much he's important in terms of being still one of the premier right tackles in the league, probably top 3. Ernie B, you can probably check me on that. What's the old boy from Detroit?
Penei Sewell.
Yeah, he's number 1.
Lane is still considered
top
the top
3. Yeah, I would say top 3.
Top right tackle in football.
Right tackle, yeah, right tackle. I'm just telling you, right tackle. Yeah. So with that being said, I think that he's getting up there in age, but this offense is really nothing without AJ. Like he changes this offense completely. It's almost like the T.O. effect. Like with him on the field, this offense is so much more explosive. It opens up everything for everybody else. And I don't think you can say that about another player on this team without A.J. Brown. So for me, myself, I didn't let the clock go, but I'm going to go A.J. Brown as the most important player on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think he knows it too because it's the way they look, the way they play. Like he's such a difference maker on that field. You have to account for him. You have to send maybe safety help. His after the catch is amazing as well. Very T.O.-esque. I don't think there's many like that anymore. But that same build, that same type of um, explosiveness in that build that he has. So give me AJ Brown as the most important player on this Philadelphia team. Humble. I'll go right back to you, bro. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I would say
Or AJ?
the importance of your offensive lineman is obviously top tier, right? And you got one of the
For
best
sure.
at the right tackle position. So yeah, Lane Johnson being missing, but I think we have depth at the O line. I don't think it's like, oh, since Lane's left, the door is wide open, and we have now an issue where Jalen is being pressured because Lane is not there no more. No, I don't think that's the reason. I said this a couple weeks ago when when AJ Brown went down, we lost all our explosion on offense. He stretches the field so much, like it's everything that you just said prior. So yeah, I would agree with you. AJ Brown on this team, on this with this type of scheme, is the most important piece. One is the biggest trust factor for Jalen. I mean, for Jalen, his best one of his best friends in AJ Brown. So he just has the security blanket over there he can go to at the short routes or crossing routes, hit him with the deep route too. So it just he is the most impactful player offensively on this team for sure. Absolutely. If it was Jason Kelsey, I would probably have said Jason Kelsey, then AJ. But Jason Kelsey's no longer here.
I probably would have said AJ still. But all right, let me clear it up. Ernie B, take us home, baby.
I think you guys are both right. I mean, AJ Brown is hands down the most dominant offensive football player we've had in Philadelphia since Terrell Owens. But Lane Johnson is still the most important player on this team. Until he's not rostered, he is still the most important player on this team. Now, I would say that that's on game day. As far as roster value from a GM standpoint, I would still have AJ Brown as the number one player on the team. I think he is, like, from a league-wide view, the most valuable player. But I think from a franchise standpoint, going out and just lining it up, I really think to this day, I think Lane Johnson is still the best player on the football team. And I want to bring up something to you guys and wonder how you feel about it. Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts have an oddity to lose a lot of fumbles to the right side of the line. And it tends to be in games that Lane Johnson was not available. Do you guys think that having such a good right tackle as a developing quarterback, that it could hurt you as far as games that you don't have that tackle? Because we've seen Jalen and Carson extend the play with pressure from the right side a lot. And then when left side, they tend to move to their right. Now, it's very common for guys that are right-handed throwers and feel pressure to the left side. But it's just ironic that Carson and Jalen have had Lane, who has been one of the best in the game, and has kind of blindsided that side for them. Like, they didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting stat because it's their dominant side, right? Right side, your left side is their blind side. So
yeah.
Excuse me. You would think that they would be able to feel that pressure. And I think that's this pocket awareness. And their eyes always downfield, and we're trying
it's just interesting that they both.
That's an interesting thing.
After playing with that guy for a couple years, and then when he's not there, they just seem to hold on to the ball for so long with obvious pressure coming from that side.
I don't know how to even quantify that or even qualify.
And that's
that.
why I think it's.
It's just weird because it's from the right side. If it was the left side, the blind side, it makes sense. But
we were talking
the
about
right side where you feel that you could be able, peripherals wise, you should be able to feel that pressure. You know what I mean? You should be able to feel that pressure. So, that is interesting. Humble, what you got?
I mean, I would say, it will make sense because they're both right-handed guys. Obviously, we know that Jalen Hurts likes to roll out right. So when he does have that protection there on his right side, he feels more comfortable. He can hold the ball on longer. See, this is the difference, though. This is the difference of a quarterback that needs to grow into the system, be able to have not 3 different offensive coordinators in 4 years to be successful. You look at Tom Brady, you look at Patrick Mahomes, they are making checks at the line. So they're able to kind of make these checks and say, okay, maybe I don't have my right tackle there, so I can run these short patterns, short routes, and tell – I don't know, maybe give my slot receiver a little short, little stub route or zig route that I can get to him real quickly. This is the opportunity for a quarterback to continue to grow. That's why Tom Brady was so great. He didn't throw the ball down the field so damn much. He just read defenses and gave them what they gave, and took what they gave him.
Tom Brady also didn't have an all-pro right tackle his entire career, and a Hall of Famer in that.
He didn't need it. He didn't need it because he was able. Because he was able to get the ball out.
There, man.
Because he was able to get the ball out.
He wants to see, but the second he second guesses something, he's not making the throw. He's not going to make the throw. I mean, he's doing things that are not. I mean, like Nate said, we can have a whole show on it. I mean, the dude does not make elite level throws on a day-to-day basis. Point blank. Period.
That's okay. Go, Humble. What were you saying?
I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it's the allowance of able to make sure you can make these checks. Every play doesn't have to be deep down the field. Don't need to be a 15-yard route. That's my problem with the offense.
You don't think he's doing that now, though?
He has that ability now.
I don't think he's the only thing he has is the check down coming to Saquon Barkley. Everything else is 15 yards.
So hold on. What about the play we talked about last week with Goddard? That was a check.
Right. That was the check play.
Yeah, but that's not a check to the flat. That's a check of the mesh play that they call because they were a man. I think he has that ability now.
Yes, I'm talking. When you're talking about full play checking, yes, cool. I'm talking about hot routes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about looking at your player and saying hot route, not changing the play. That was a full play change against that Saints game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hot routing. I'm talking about the cerebral ability to hot route, understanding the scheme.
I think it's just a tough argument when we bring in Mahomes and Brady.
This is I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. Because we're talking about super elite. What I'm saying is, you have a quarterback that's had how many offensive coordinators?
I agree. Yeah.
How many? No, answer the question. How many sort of people?
I believe it's 4.
How many years has he?
If you go back to college, it's.
No, I'm talking about in NFL. In the NFL, how many coordinators have you been through?
3. We're on our 3rd.
How many years has he played?
6.
How many years has he started?
5.
3 coordinators. 4 and
That's
5
very
years.
common in the NFL, man. His production is.
Tell me a successful one. Tell me a successful one.
A successful quarterback.
Tell me one successful quarterback that has had this type of situation.
Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, man. Go through all their coordinators.
Peyton Manning was. No, that's
I hate those comparisons. Those elites.
Let's not talk about Peyton Manning. And
like those elites.
Lamar Jackson has had an MVP with multiple coordinators.
Who?
Greg Roman and whoever the other guy is he won one with. I mean, he has 2 MVPs.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the same system is the same. It's nothing changed.
They're completely different offensive systems.
Greg Roman and whatchamacallit, they just want him to pass the ball. He didn't have no weapons. They still run the football. They run football first. They run. They're running football.
Do great today? That is my question.
What you mean?
What does he do great today?
He's not doing anything great. He's not playing well. He's not doing anything.
He does not run the ball great. He does not command the offense great. What does Jalen Hurts do for us great today? And you're talking about a guy that spent $300 on a Kelly Green Jalen Hurts jersey. So I'm all for I love the guy. But what has he done on the field for us today that is great? There's nothing. I have seen nothing. I have seen subpar quarterback play with a supposed fix-all coordinator on offense and a supposed fix-all coordinator on defense. I need to remind Philadelphia fans, with Bill Belichick comes Josh McDaniels, who has failed as a head coach egregiously. With Bill Belichick comes an Adam Gase, a Matt Patricia, who has already been here. Like, this is not this is a Eagles problem. This is not a Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, whatever. This is an Eagles problem. They have issues far beyond the head coach and the quarterback right now.
But that's not even we can go to the highest level. Nothing's changing up there. Not one thing is going to change up there. Systematically, as far as the locker room, every time I'm having an argument with anybody, but you guys got so much talent. Talent doesn't win games. Talent only going to win you but so much. At the end of the day, you're going to have a good scheme, a good system that's built. This ain't basketball. This ain't the NBA where you can just, hey, all right, the play ain't break down. I'm going to go one-on-one and go. Football, you need all 11 players at a time to accomplish the goal. So if your coaching staff is not built for that, if the leader of that room is not built for that, you're going to see the fallout. I've been saying it last year We were talking about it during the Jets game in week last year. You remember that, Nate? We had the same conversation. I said it was glaring holes in how we lost that game. Oh, well, Nick got to be doing something right. Oh, we were 9-1 at one point. I was saying the same exact thing. Oh, well, Nick got to be doing something right. And then we fell off a goddamn cliff and we ain't recovered yet. Same shit, same locker rooms. Just a different year.
So
it's a different year.
So what are you arguing?
I agree.
mean,
I disagree with that, but go ahead, Ernie B.
Well, I'm just saying, like what's the argument? I mean, Howie seems. It's not like Howie's going to lose his job. I know that. Jeffrey Lurie's not going to sell the team. I understand that.
So that's not changing.
But you have to get a guy that wants to coach the football team. So if you think you're going to get Bill, which in a major market we do, you wait to fire the guy and then you miss out because somebody else does something like, I don't know, offer him more money or give him a better situation to go to. Like, and we're talking about a 70-something-year-old Bill Belichick. Like, this isn't Bill Belichick in his prime. I'm just saying, you fire Nick, be humble. I want to know what's the answer. What do we do?
Because change the culture of the locker room and give accountability. That's it. You wipe out, wipe, and then it'd be dark hole. It's a dark hole now. It's a dark hole.
You got a dark hole with talent, man. You're talking about a dark hole that nobody wants to play for, which is what bad coach.
I'm not on the Nick, on the with you, Ernie B. I'm kind of I like that argument better because it's like, okay, we want to fire Nick, we hold the signs up to fire Nick, but what are we going to do after that? Like, what's better?
What are we talking about? Like
what's better? Because Kellen Moore, I don't think it's the answer.
Your quarterback was asked the question in the press conference before a bye week. They asked him. They heard something about Nick Sirianni and how do you Nick Sirianni, and his response was, "We have our moments." That's what he said.
And you know what my response is?
Problem.
Tighten the fuck up. Quit turning the ball over, son.
Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem?
Because you're seeing the disconnect. There's a disconnect between quarterback.
Their personalities don't have to mesh. The goals are just have to be the same.
Not going anywhere. Guess.
Brady and Belichick didn't love each other.
Jalen Hurts ain't going nowhere. We just
Brady and Belichick didn't love each other.
So at the end of the day, when
Jalen will go somewhere. If you want me to bring up that contract dispute, because Jalen will go somewhere. I've seen this my entire life.
Ernie, hold on. Let him talk. Go ahead.
When you don't have a connection between your head coach and your starting quarterback, who's not going anywhere because you're not going to bench him, this is the black hole. Something has to change.
But you're basing that off their personalities not meshing? What are you basing that off?
I'm basing it off of pretty much Jalen saying, please stop asking me this goddamn question before I tell y'all this truth. He said it last year. He said the same stuff last year. Everything looks bad if it's not.
I don't agree because
taken care of.
We knew like if they were 4-0 and they had these problems that we saw and they got away with talent, I think we could start
last year. What do you mean?
Yeah, but this is not last year. This is this year. This is different team.
Same thing.
We have new coordinators.
And
you have to give that. You just made an argument about this ain't basketball. You can't just go one-on-one. You can't just put two coordinators out here and think we're going to just set the world on fire.
You thought so?
Take time.
You thought so?
I did.
How many wins did you have? How many wins did you have the Philadelphia Eagles this year?
12. We had 4. So I mean, we had 2. We're 2 and 2.
This is a perfect example of how we are as a city. It's an unstable fandom. And that is why we ask the questions that we ask at this point in time.
I ain't unsteady. I'm steady.
Carolina ain't asking these questions. I can tell you that right now. And they have the worst owner in the league.
Same train for now 2 years now.
So this is a good.
It's playing out for me. It ain't playing out for y'all that's Knicks fans. It's playing out for me.
I ain't no Knicks. Look, hey,
I'm a Sirianni fan. I ain't gonna hold you.
Right. And it's playing out for me.
I don't have a problem with Sirianni. Now, I was completely off on him when he came in here and he talked about the plants and the roofs and he just couldn't get his thoughts together. It was terrible. So that was a bad first impression. But I didn't expect him to go to the Super Bowl. And guess what? He was the head coach. I don't care if it was Steichen. I don't care what anybody says. He was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Now, last year,
one holding call away from holding that chip up, dude.
10-1 last year. There was glaring holes. Did anybody think they were going to fall off the cliff like that? I
No.
sure enough did. I knew they might have been bad, but not that bad. Now we're seeing the same thing, but we have a turnover in leadership in the locker room, and we have a turnover in coordinators. That shit takes time. I don't understand why people don't get that. You want to fire Nick because they're not 4-0? Like, come on, man.
What's the
Like
standard? What even
and
is
we
the
talked
standard?
about it, Humble. We talked about this defensive line. I said all the time, Huff, don't know. I've been said Nolan Smith was. I said Nolan Smith before they even drafted Nolan Smith. I said he wasn't it. And I said pass rush is going to kill this team, right? So he's still trying to figure it out. I got to give Rangio more time. If it looked like this shit week 12, then yes. Week 10, we got a motherfucking problem. But right now, let him figure it out. Let him see what works. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that wasn't a bad, Evans is a gold jacket, right?
Yeah.
Godwin ain't bad at a number 2. Like, we have no pass rush. They showed the clock. Baker was getting it out his hand in less than 3 seconds, 2.2.
Less than 2.5.
2.4.
No,
You know what
less
I'm
than
saying?
2.5.
Like, that's tough to
it was
defend. You can't
record-breaking.
defend that. And that's going back to what Ernie B was saying. Press. Reroute these guys. Mess up that timing. But good segue. Had to get that out, man. I was holding that back. Nice little segue into Eagles have a bye week coming up. And you just talked about it, Humble, in terms of what are we looking at in terms of this team right now, moving forward, because that's all we can do is move forward. We have a bye week, and then I believe we have a pretty soft schedule. At least we hope. We have a soft schedule coming up here. So I'm gonna run through the next, I want to say 4 or 5 games because the bye week. We were complaining when the schedule dropped about how bad the bye week. How the bye week was kind of early, but it looks like it's right on time. Go with you first, Humble. The schedule right now. I'm gonna tell you the teams real quick. The next 5 teams, and you let me know how you feel this Eagles team should perform moving forward. We're home for the Browns after the bye week. Then we're at the Giants, at Cincy, home for the Jags, and then at Cal. And then we run through the kind of the NFC East with our division game, Cowboys and Washington. So the first 4, the Browns ain't good. I mean, those 4 teams combined, I don't have their records in front of me, but what is that? Maybe 4-10 out of those 4 teams. I don't think has the Jags even won yet. No, the Jags are 0-4.
No, Dougie P's on a firm hot seat.
That's 1-7, 2-10. I was close, and the Browns are. So the combined 4 teams are 3-13.
Yeah.
Next 4.
Listen, we don't have an identity as an Eagles football team, so I don't know what we're going to do coming out of the bye week. If everybody's healthy, talent we should carry our talent, and talent itself should raise us over those games. I think the biggest issue here is that you're going to have desperate teams by that time, and we're going to be going against desperate teams because it's still early, and these guys still feel like they can save their season. The Browns, obviously the Jags.
Jim Schwartz is a big one there.
Right.
I see Jim Schwartz is like a little bit of a trap defense game.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, although those records are not good and they're not good teams, they're just going to be desperate.
And then you got Dougie P, and I think we're wearing Kelly Green for that game too. Like that just it sounds good now leading out of the bye.
Hey, the clock's still going. He's got his time. Come on now. Don't make me mute you now. Boy, don't make me mute you.
I would say, I really don't know who we are. So, big guy, I really don't know who we are.
Go Birds. My man.
So I really don't know who we are. So I really can't call it, man. It's a week-to-week league, especially with this team. It really comes down to our health. Is AJ Brown going to be healthy? He has a hamstring injury. How bad is it? Obviously, he's still in street clothes. Will he be ready by week 6? Devontae Smith, that was a big hit. Is he going to be out of concussion protocol? Is he ready to play? Lane Johnson, another one. Like, these are big. I know we needed this week off, which is important, but I still don't know who we are. I don't know what the morale is in the locker room. Can we bounce back like we did against the Saints? I think we can. give another extra week for Nick Vivangio to kind of get his defense together. So for me, I have no idea, bro. We can win 4 games, or we can be 500.
All right, on the clock there, real quick. Those 4 games, give me a quick record. We go 3-1, 2-2. You think we split them? You freeze?
For me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I just said it. Oh yeah. So all right. So I'm sorry. Repeat the question. I thought you were talking. I apologize.
No. 3. What do you and with the record in those 4 games? What do you think our record would be?
I'm gonna say shit, man. The way we played, bro. I'm gonna say 2-2.
Okay. Ernie B. Bye week coming up.
I mean, really, we should only have one win right now, to be honest with you.
God damn it. I'm about to mute your ass for just saying that shit.
We got lucky against the Saints. We just got lucky at the end of the day.
3-13, I think I said, those 4 teams. Bye week coming in right in time. What do you think the outlook is for this team during the bye week, and what do you see the outlook on those 4 teams and maybe the softest spot in the schedule here?
First of all, the magnifying glass has got to come out a little bit. Things that I'm looking at, just like Biombo touched on. I mean, these injuries, like, what's going on? We have Sidney Brown, who is eligible to come off of PUP and start practicing, just like Nick Chubb with the Browns. So all guys who were off-season PUP, week 5 are option to open up the practice window. So that is a 21-day practice window in which they can be reinstated to the team or else shut down for the season. Sidney Brown is expected to be back off of a torn ACL, I think, from like week 17 of the Giants last year.
Yeah.
I see some things like they got to get healthy, man. Like Biombo said, they have no identity, man. This team doesn't have an identity. I mean, I'm very curious to see how they come out of this. I mean, what Saquon had 10 carries in the Buccaneers game, in a game that people thought he would have 25 plus. And, it's just game planning.
That's just game flow.
It's just, game flow, and they're going to argue for whatever. It is what it is. We've been getting our ass whooped by Tampa for years. It's not even Sirianni era, Peterson era, Kelly era, Reed era. I mean, we can go back to getting our ass whooped by Tampa.
We're 1-7.
Yeah, it's just
it's 1-6. Sorry, 1-6 over the last 7 games.
It's just bad. Like, it's just not.
Do you guys really take? And actually, no, because Ernie B, you still on the clock, and I'll ask you.
I don't. What else?
Do you think that didn't count? Like, I understand how bad they are coming into this game, but it's a new year. Like, what does last year have anything to do with
Todd? In my opinion, from the new era, is Todd Bowles owns Jalen Hurts. Yep. I mean, he knows his tendencies and through and through. I mean, it's.
Well, okay. So that was Bowles versus Hurts record. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No. Just period. History has us at 1-6.
The Bucks. No, the Bucks. Yeah. I think are. Yeah, Hurts' record is like what 1-3 or 1-4. It was I think the regular.
We only had one win when we went down there. It was 25-11. That was the only win in 6 years. So we're 1-6 or we won one of the last 6 years against the Bucks. Yeah, Bucks just have our numbers.
5 now against the Bucks
and meaningful games. Like they beat us, and we're 4-2 in playoffs. Yeah. Like the Bucks are 4-2 against us in the playoffs. They just beat us in meaningful games.
They've got us. I mean, it's not good. Yeah. But
although we're 9-8 in the total series, we are ahead 9-8.
Yeah, from 30.
They beat us. Yeah, right.
Years they were like 97, I think,
correct.
Or whatever. So
but the updated ones.
But the Bucks. I mean, all in all, we have in critical situations been owned by the Bucks. I mean, they have just handled us. And again, it was a game. Vinny Curry touched on this on the All PHLY podcast, the post game, where he just basically said, like, in September, these games are 100% an advantage for South Florida teams. Like, they have the advantage. Like the opposing bench is against the sun. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's by design. I know that. Yeah,
it's brutal. It was brutal, and they faced it. And you know what? Like we have to take that into account. But I don't know. I'm in the boat of I think we have dysfunction, and I'm gonna call it how it is.
Yeah, hopefully we come out of that.
Definitely dysfunction. Definitely,
internal dysfunction. We can just call it.
Yeah. So I thought this was real interesting because this next subject, and we can it's not more of a debate, but just an opinion of what you guys think. This was a revenge game maybe for Devin White, and he was again a health scratch for this game.
The Panthers just lost Shaq Thompson to a torn ACL today. Let's just remember that Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell are out for the year. So Howie Roseman's hold on, let's see if somebody gets injured and I can get some form of a breadcrumb for this player, could be.
So there you go, Ernie. I started the clock. Go ahead.
I'm
and take
sorry.
it.
I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're up to date with the info because I didn't know. What do we do with Devin White at this point? He didn't play against the Bucs, which would be the game you would think he would at least suit up. He was in street clothes.
They've been trying. Well, he didn't travel with the team. So
he didn't even travel with the team.
No. They've been trying to move Devin White since week 1. It is what it is with the team of Devin White. Vic Fangio opted for Nakobe Dean, whether that was from the hand of Howie Roseman and the front office brass or whatever. The 3rd round pick won the job, and the guy that
he said he went into camp too. Remember, he said I think Fangio said he saw enough from Dean that he knew that Dean was the guy.
Well, Dean was hands down the best inside linebacker coming out of camp. That's a fact. Dean had come on. He looked like the best inside linebacker.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that the former 5th overall pick was beat out by Zach Bond as well, who is playing the position for the first time in his career. He's a former edge rusher, 3rd round pick out of New Orleans, who is now playing inside linebacker for Fangio in this defense. Fangio loves the guy. Like Fangio,
he's balling though. You can't.
He is. Fangio's a big fan. So Howie had his choice. Fangio had his choice. Is the way that I see it. And we have our pairing of Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean. But they have openly been trying to move Devin White since week 1. And within NFL circles, it's about expected that they should release Devin White and allow him to seek other opportunities because the teams kind of have them cornered. And I think he feels that way as well.
Yeah, it's just weird because he came here, he had the press conference, talked about the group chat that he
did the Pivot podcast with everybody, and
I didn't watch that. What was that talked about? What did he say on the Pivot?
That was the Pivot podcast was him with the group chat talk about him, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, right. It was just crazy. Like you're gonna talk about this chat that you have, and now it was like I'm wondering if he even still talks in that joint. He's not even playing, right? Like you a cheerleader at this time, and the way he carries himself, it seems like he has too much pride. He's being professional as much as he can. But I mean, I think his salary was guaranteed, so he's sitting on the sideline.
But he's got a good chunk of change guaranteed.
Yeah, all right.
To the point that it would hinder the Eagles if they released him.
Yeah,
and I mean that with a grain of salt, just so every NFL fan that keeps with the salary cap understands they won't release a grain of salt for nothing.
Humble, I'll go to you. Anything on what you would do with Devin White? Are you at least like playing him to see what you got, or is he just a liability at this point, or is it just like, all right, we're gonna have to trade this guy and kind of keep it moving?
I would say I would assume that obviously this is a out of the coaching decision type of situation for him not to play. I don't know what he did. He hasn't seen the field since preseason. So I mean, it's not really much to say about Devin White. I used to love Devin White at Tampa Bay. I thought he was really dynamic, really athletic, can go from sideline to sideline. Now, obviously, they were okay to let him go, and obviously, maybe that's a telltale sign of anything that's possibly happening as far as his skill diminished. Kind of like Shaq Leonard, right? Like we was excited to have Shaq Leonard here with his ability that he played with the Colts, and he got here, and he just wasn't the same guy anymore. So maybe the same situation with Devin White. He took a shot. I would love to see him on the field so we can see for our own eyes that maybe he just doesn't have it. I mean, we can't find no snaps for him at all. So that's kind of weird. So it just tells me it's more of a management decision, kind of like what Ernie B is saying, is that they're just holding him off to hopefully can use him as some trade bait in the future. That's all I can really say about Devin White. I like him. I always liked him as a player coming out. So
yeah, I did too as well.
The huff is more of an issue than anything. Huff's inability to make a play is inexcusable at that price. Inexcusable. That is a travesty. And you want to talk about Howie making that move? Of all moves, that's the one that was really bad, unfortunately.
Don gonna say, was that a hell no with no house phone, man? That's the alarm for the Don got joke. He said, was that an alarm? No, man, we doing around the horn style. We going back and forth with the debate, man.
I love that.
Don, I thought you'd be watching your Lions roar.
No, he got them supporting them Tigers, man. Them Detroit Tigers, man.
Them too.
They made the postseason, right?
They sure
what
did.
a amazing comeback, if I'm not mistaken. When the last time the Detroit Tigers been in the damn postseason?
It's been a minute.
Is that Pug? What's his name? Pug? The catcher?
Did Dontrellis Willis make it with them when they had? Remember him?
It's been a few weeks.
It's been a long time, bro.
You remember Willis used to bring that knee up to like his chest?
Oh yeah. Dontrellis Willis,
Marlins pitcher.
Yeah, Dontrellis Willis
for a while.
Yeah.
I like Dontrellis Willis.
All right, Don says, question. I know it's early, but do y'all think the Eagles are buyers when the deadline comes up?
Yes, because
pass rusher, big time.
Yes, because Howie is Howie, and it will not be. I will go ahead and give you this, Don. It's not going to be what we have seen as positive in the past. This is going to be what was that kid's name they traded for? An edge rusher, Doug Peterson. It was 2019. They traded for a kid from. God, he was out of Memphis. It's like the Bryce Huff thing all over again. I can't remember his name. But they gave a 3rd round pick for him, and it did not go well. This is killing me, man. I'm the guy that's supposed to know this stuff. But basically, I just I know this.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He must have not made an impression.
That much of a nobody, bro. It was so bad. We gave remember we traded for Golden Tate, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
All right. It was the year.
That was a bad team. That was a bad roster that year.
2019. Hold on.
That was a bad roster.
This is so bad that I have to look this up. Deadline.
When you say his name, I'll probably remember.
Detroit had made the playoffs 2014.
2014? Yeah, that's a long 10 years.
Nah,
was Pudge on that team? Or did he retire by then?
The catcher?
Yeah, the catcher.
Now you got me going into the stats.
Damn, he said 10 years since y'all seen postseason? Don, I know you got to be going to a game.
Detroit been having a good couple years, man. The Lions out there roaring. They got the Tigers down. What would Tigers do? I gotta say, Lions roar. What does Tigers do?
I don't know. That's
a good question, right? Hey, Don, if Lions roar, what do Tigers do? I gotta come up with it.
Yeah, they growl.
They growl? No, that's dogs. Dogs growl. Tigers don't growl.
Y'all stupid, yo. Dumbass question.
I hope you guys realize this is killing me right now. I cannot figure out the guy's name, and I could point him out to you in a lineup.
What was his number? You know his number?
Oh man, outside linebacker.
From Memphis? He wasn't he was an outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker, defensive end. He was a
and they traded for him
from oh man, this is so bad. I'm telling you,
Nate. You couldn't find it. You couldn't find him on the roster.
No. I was looking at 20. It was like 20. It's got to be God. It was after Golden Tate. So that's 2019.
Because Golden Tate was here for what, a year or two?
2019
year, right? I thought didn't get hurt too while he was here. I was a Golden Tate fan too. I like Golden Tate.
If I could find his name.
Like a year and a half.
Yeah. I feel like he wasn't here too long. Maybe.
Yeah, because they drafted. All right, hold on. Next season.
This better be a good drop there.
Bad.
Buddy.
It's all bad.
Damn,
this is so funny. This is so funny because this is Nickel Roby Coleman's year. I remember this. You remember that?
Who?
Nickel Roby Coleman, the dude that invented the PI challenge rule in that Rams Saints game, and then we signed him, and we thought we were going to have like an elite nickel, and he stunk.
Not ringing a bell.
Nickel Roby Coleman.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You remember the Rams Saints game, NFC Championship or whatever it was, or NFC divisional game?
No.
I cannot find this guy's name, and I'm going to send it in the chat later. And you guys, I'm going to send it all exclamation points. I'm going to be like, this was his name.
Miami's toast.
Yeah, Miami is toast. So we have at the bottom here, obviously, some of our headlines that we're going, but wanted to talk about two greats passed away.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Didn't even know Dikembe Mutombo had brain cancer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any details came out about how Pete Rose died. I just know he was in his 80s, so that might be just old age at that point. But man, let's talk real quick about Mutombo's impact in Philadelphia. Even though kind of short-lived, they made the big trade. Was that 01? Was that 01?
01.
Yeah, they made the big trade 01 and went to the finals, right, with Dikembe Mutombo, and he just went there and got dunked on by Shaq.
Well, he had a good game one. Took a lot of elbows from Shaq, and then then it was over after that.
Yeah. But he stuck around for a couple more years, though.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. He stuck around for a couple more years. And then I don't know if he retired. He didn't retire a Sixer, but he retired during his tenure of the Sixers, or he went somewhere else and retired. I don't remember how he ended his career. But he was always a fan favorite. Had an unusual relationship, obviously, with in 01 with AI. And I remember how excited people were, because that was the thing, right? We had Theo, and we knew that that we couldn't, that it wasn't enough to go against people in the East. And his impact on the field, on the court was obviously well known. But I think, his biggest work with Africa and the things he's done over there. I think he has a hospital that he had helped build over there in his home country of Africa. I think it's just gone match about what type of player he was. He was here. Yeah, he was only here for a year, 2 years. Thought he was here longer, but that's what I thought. He went. Yeah, no, he did stick around. He went to the Nets after that, then the Knicks. Then it looks like he went to the Rockets and retired as a Rocket.
Can I give you the name?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jannard Avery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Avery. I remember what you're talking about.
Jannard Avery. That's. Yeah. I am so sorry. Jannard Avery. That was the name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it was like 50 something, if I'm not mistaken. His number. I forget what his number was.
He went to Memphis. That was the only.
Yeah, but he didn't really. He was almost like a special teamer. He didn't really make it.
Well, that was the thing. We just gave a 4th round pick for him. Straight up at the deadline.
Right. And then also who passed away, the hit king himself, Pete Rose. I still think it is a tragedy that he is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he should be. I think everybody who knows it should be. But, played for the did he win a ring here in Philly? Did he win? Was he on that 80 team? It wasn't on that 80 team?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But obviously one of the best players who ever played the game of baseball.
Damn, Pete Rose might have won, actually.
I think he might have won here.
Yeah, I think he did win, actually.
I think he did win a ring.
Yeah.
I think it was that 80.
Pete Rose won chip in Philly?
I think he did, as I'm thinking, because I thought we brought back that team back here, and he was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they brought the team. It was the year with Smith and them.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, let me look it up. I'm almost positive 1980. Yeah, he was on the 80s Phillies. Yeah. Damn, he played for the Reds for a long time. And then he came to Philly. He played for Philly for 5 years, went back to the Reds. And then, obviously we all, all she wrote.
Yeah, man.
His best year looks like that Reds year, played 160 games, had 230 hits, 64 runs, and only he wasn't a big super power hitter. Had looks like 5 home runs. I'm wondering if that's still a record of 230 hits in one game in 1 year. Probably is. But shout out to the legends. who unfortunately passed away, and there's not so many great players anymore that have legendary careers like those two did. You know, so shout out to the legends. You guys got any memories of Dikembe or Pete Rose you want to share?
I had a little quick video of 2001. We won a champion. Well, we were going to this championship game, and the Philadelphia was insane that night, bro. It was probably one of the craziest nights in my young life. I was a teenager, and we were out coming down Broad Street. And it just so happened that like Dikembe and some of the players was like out amongst the people. They just was just having a good time out among people. And I remember this one thing. I remember this girl running up to Dikembe, and Dikembe like gave her the stiff arm, like, "Get off me, bitch." I will never forget that moment. I'm like, damn, there goes Dikembe. And the girl was like, "Hey, Dikembe, hey, Dikembe." And he was like, "Get off me, bitch." That's my Dikembe Mutombo memory. I don't think I'll let that one go. That was just a crazy night. Great time in Philadelphia, man. When Philadelphia wins and they're on their way to winning, man, this is a great city to be at. We love our teams. We're hard on our teams because we put that much soul and effort and energy into these teams, and this is why when they do win, man, it's epic here. I think that's why players that play here and kind of get to understand the city,
They stay here.
they love
Yeah,
here. They love it.
they
You know what I'm
stay
saying?
here.
So it's unique. You gotta have the thick skin to understand it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ernie B, you agree? It's different being a Philadelphia fan, coming all the way from
I
North
think
Carolina.
Philadelphia fan is an understatement. I think being a player of, and especially a star on one of these teams, comes with weight that it does not come with any other city. And, I think that's real. I mean, I think the quarterback job in Philadelphia is not just being a quarterback in a major market. It's being the quarterback in Philadelphia. So
Well said.
be ready for it.
Yeah, well said. So hopefully our Philadelphia.
Be humble. Head coach as well. Excuse me. Head coach as well. Comes a lot of weight. A lot of weight.
True. So
Let me
hopefully
ask you
our
a question before we get off. I do want to ask you a
Yeah.
question. With that being
Yes.
said, if the tides are turning, right,
Mhm.
and we're putting this weight on Jalen Hurts, how do you think he handles that type of pressure when he's going to eventually start getting the boos and the criticisms from his own fans, that you think that, damn, well, just 2 years ago he led us to the Super Bowl, and then 2 years later, obviously he's earned it. 27 turnovers is not a good stat, and not
Yeah.
winning. How does that look? How do it's tough to come back from that. I think I had a comment about a Phillies game. They were cheering. They had showed like pictures of football players. They had Jason Kelsey. The crowd went crazy. Jalen Hurts was on the board, and they start booing. It was like a mixed bottle of bags at the Citizens Bank Park. Like that's a telltale sign that, and I just want to know what you guys think. Like how far away are we from that moment?
Like I said, I want to put this as clear as possible. I don't want to throw out the sense that there's anything looming as far as a benching, as far as a firing, or anything like that. But I think what Be Humble kind of hinted at is seats are hot, and the city knows it. And we have an elongated way of hating things. So this is just the beginning. I mean, in order to be exiled from the city, you have to go through some trials and tribulations. And Jalen has not done that just yet. He has given us some highs, and he's given us the lows. And the question is from the city is, how do you answer those? Where's your balance? We've seen you at your best, and now some could say we've seen you at your worst. So who are you at your core? And that is what will define Jalen Hurts as a quarterback in Philadelphia. And I think Be Humble just put that perfectly. It's about how you respond to the city, because the city is a life force in its own. And the city and the sports franchises have to, they oddly gain this weird frequency where they're on the same page. And when that happens, man, we see championships and we see gold. So Sixers might be our best hope, but
bro. We gotta go through that shit again.
No, I'm
But-
Yeah, I know.
but, listen,
Media day was yesterday.
Rah. We're gonna start with the Phillies right now. Red
the
October
Phillies,
right now.
Red October,
Red
baby.
October.
Yeah,
We gotta
I got
get
the Phils winning before any other of the sports teams. Just to put that on paper. But I'm gonna use a Jalen quote because we know he's such a philosopher.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use a Jalen quote to perfectly end the show and perfectly sum up who Jalen Hurts is in his core, as you say, when things start to get hot. He said, "I didn't walk through all the fire just to smell the smoke." I think that's where he's going to be at. Look at Ernie P's face. He can't stand it. He can't stand the philosopher. You know what I mean? I think, you already heard, keep the main thing the main thing. I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion and all this other stuff. I think Jalen, honestly, I think Jalen going to be Jalen. I think you're going to get the same look that we've seen. I don't think he's going to let any temperament change him.
Have fun throwing interceptions in New York, Sean. And that's the Jets, by the way. That's not the Giants. That's the Jets.
I think they'll question. They'll question him, and he'll answer how he always has, and he's going to stay him. And I don't think he'll be too rattled. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's the position.
Is that now that you see? Do you think that's an issue, like his urgency? We don't, what I mean, because now we're starting to seeing the quarterback, like seeing the person. Is it his urgency that
you'll see it on you'll see it on the field if it is. Once he starts pressing, just like Ernie B, like holding the ball, like that play before we get out here, that play, that video that's going around of all 22, or the play where he missed Barkley on the rolling right, first play of the of the game for us offensively.
First off drive for the Eagles.
Yeah, for the Eagles. But when I saw on that play was Wilson was open. Like I saw Wilson.
Yeah, he was.
Wilson was open. So,
but you're talking about like 3 steps into a 9-step drop, according to her. You know what I mean? Like,
but it was like they say, he got pressure, but he had a pocket.
There was
no pressure. He got pocket. His lineman can't hold blocks forever, right? He got at least 3 hitches that I counted. Like, when I saw it, 1, 2, 3, deliver. You know what I mean? Like, and I think he doesn't either trust Wilson or just like,
he's not seeing it.
He's just not seeing it. Because to me, when I saw the play, because Barkley flared out and then he ran upfield once he saw the play was gonna kind of breaking down.
Barkley ran it out to the sideline.
Yeah, he ran it. He flared out, and he's got to be the 5th option. Like he's not like
he knows the safety drop and he took off.
Yeah,
Mahomes makes that throw. Allen makes that throw. Jackson makes that throw. Rodgers makes that throw. I mean, I
think it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
it is what it is.
We'll see. We'll see more of Jalen Hurts, and you guys watching will see more of this trio doing the damn thing, talking shit about the Eagles as we Eagle rants on Mondays, man. With this concept of
Sound University, baby.
He's
actually going to Nick Foundation. So
we got Fire Nick, we got Stoutland University, and as always, it's a money pot thing, baby. It's a money pot thing. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you are around for Money Pot betting Wednesday nights. Me and Hummer are back on the Gambling Nights tip, and we will always have our free bets coming out each and every week. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you guys later. Have a good night. Go Phils, man.